You got any?
Most of my stories are either from the Army or from my time at the college. I want to say, so when I was in the Army, we had a couple fun instances when I was in Iraq. One, so the base that we were on is it's a big, it's 7 square miles, and it was mostly open desert. You had the airstrip, you had a few buildings, but most of it was just wide open. And then, of course, around it was pretty much just open desert, too. So the bad guys couldn't get real close, but they would, from a distance away, shoot off rockets and hope that they hit something in the base, right?
Mm.
So I'm out there on the airstrip one day, and we had the mail plane, which came out of Spain. It was like a Boeing 737, I think. And so the door's like 15 foot off the ground, and then we have this big forklift that would go in, get the pallet, pull it off, and then come back and get the next pallet, so on. And there's usually a guy up there right at the door guiding the forklift and all that. And we were out there and just doing the job. I was checking and everything that was going on, and then all of a sudden we just hear this boom, this big boom. And the forklift driver was up there. He nearly drops the pallet. The guy that's standing in the door nearly falls out of the plane. We're all scrambling. The pilot rushes to the cockpit. They're trying to close the door. They're getting ready to take off. The forklift's trying to do his best to get out of the way. All of us on the ground are like trying to go to the concrete bunkers and all of this. And do you all know what EOD stands for?
No.
Explosives Ordnance Disposal. So we had an EOD team, right? And they would, on all the convoys and everything, they'd collect up all the explosives safely, put them in a big pit, and then set them all off. What they're supposed to do is tell everybody that they're going to set that big explosion off. They did not do that day. So we're all scrambling, and the plane's about to take off, and everything's... And then all of a sudden, we get a call over the radio from the tower, be like, false alarm, that was the EOD. That was the EOD guys, and we're just like, okay, we nearly had some guy take a 15-foot drop onto the asphalt because
I started panicking.
Yeah.
Yikes, that's funny.
So that was a fun day.
That's funny.
That was another one. When we first got there, our office was this like little wooden shack, a little ways off from the airstrip, and then there was a concrete pad out there. And in Iraq, there's no, like, there's no snow. It's just a rainy season. So everything gets all muddy and everything. And we had this, like, Gator brand ATV 4-wheeler type thing. And I was just a specialist at the time, and there was an NCO, a sergeant that I was with. And we went out one day. It was kind of slow. So we took the Gator. We went off the pad a little bit where it was super muddy. We ended up getting stuck.
Nice.
In the mud. We finally rocked it back and forth because if we would have stepped out of it, we would have probably gone up to our knee in that mud. We finally rocked it, worked it enough, got it out of the mud, worked it really hard, parked it, went back inside, and then our staff sergeant, who was kind of over that part of our operation, needed to go to the other side of the pad. He jumped in it, got halfway to the other side of the pad, and it died on him. And he came back, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. The motor just quit on me. And we're just like, oh, yeah, I don't know what happened.
That's weird.
That's weird.
This is not a normal SOP. Interesting.
Yikes. Yeah. It's there was like the time...
Go ahead.
Yikes. No, you're good.
And then, so we also worked with the Air Force. Like I said, we did all the non-Air Force aircraft. So we had an Air Force team over there too. And we had this kind of interesting relationship with the Air Force guys. And I was driving a Humvee back and forth to do what I needed to do. And you can't have, obviously, non-issued firearms. You can only have what you've been issued, right? And that includes paintball guns. You can't have paintball guns.
Really?
But you can have paintballs. They can get paintballs on the base. So what they did is they got the slingshots with paintballs. And I was driving by the Air Force building one day, and then all of a sudden here, and I'm like, what in the world? And I pull over, get out, and I have these bright pink splotches on the side of my camoed Humvee. And I went back to tell my NCO, that guy that got that the gator died on him. I went and told him what was going on, and he got real quiet and he was thinking. And I was like, what do you think we should do? And he's like, trying to figure out how we're going to get them back. He was cool.
Nice. That reminds me of, again, the paper place I worked at. So the forklift we used was like a 40-year-old forklift. So the pressure plate in the seat wouldn't. So most forklifts, they work like if you're sitting out, you're fine. As soon as you start sitting up, they'll turn off.
Yeah.
So the pressure plate was faulty.